All right. Oh, geez.
I already hit it.
Oh,
Welcome in, everyone, to
oh,
another live edition of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin, here with my co-host, James Haskell. And yes, we are on. Appreciate you guys hanging in there. Nut Nasty. We love you too, Buster. We love you too. Thanks for hanging on. Be More Dummy. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hey, what's going on, Lindsay? Appreciate you coming out.
yep.
Trey West, Walter Heaps. Appreciate you guys joining us. Sorry we did not do our post game last night. A little too late for Jimbo Slimbo over here. He needs his beauty sleep.
No, my son doesn't sleep in, and it's my job to get up with him. 6 a.m. and I'm up no matter what, 7 days a week. That's it.
You know?
So I couldn't make it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, but we're here for you now. So it's just a little bit later. But boy, do we have a ton to talk about. First and foremost, the streak remains. The Ravens continue to beat every opponent put in front of them in the preseason. And even though some people like to criticize, some people like to pick at, I still think, even though the game means nothing in the overall standings, I think it still means something that the Ravens, while not game planning anymore, while not playing any starters any more than any other team, that they find a way to win these games, and I think it matters. So shout out to the Ravens for keeping the streak going.
Yeah, 100%. It's about a culture, instilling a culture and a mindset here. And so I think as we recap this game, like we've done it a few different ways, and we kind of go on whatever feels right. I think the best way to recap this game at this point is kind of talk storylines, the observations that we made. There might be moments we're talking about the beginning of the game, might be moments we're talking about overarching points of the game. But I think the where I want to start, Glenn, as people trickle in, I want to save the meat of it maybe for the middle. Not that this isn't important, but I want to talk about the O-line a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a decent place to start. So I have a point of view that I want to talk to you about, and I want to get your thoughts. One of them is the O-line did nothing last night to instill any confidence in me. And I'm a bit concerned because I felt like our quarterbacks were getting pressure a lot last night. I didn't think the run game was spectacular by any stretch of the imagination. There was a lot of negative. Well, I say a lot for the Ravens, like relative to them, a lot of negative plays in the run game. And there's some things that I'm regularly cognizant of about guys changing positions and things like that. But, where are you at when it comes to offensive line? Are you as concerned as me after last night? Because I came away underwhelmed by the O-line.
Interesting. Okay. Well, when I think about the O-line, there's a lot that kind of goes into it, especially when you talk about the preseason. So last night, Faalele. So I try and break it down individually. Did Faalele disappoint me? I don't think Faalele disappointed me personally. I was thrilled to see him come back after he had his knee, had the knee injury. I was surprised, not that it wasn't a serious injury, but I was surprised that he was back in the game. I mean, I thought even if it was a minor thing that he'd be out, but the fact that he was back in the game, certainly encouraging that all things are good with the knee. So he didn't particularly, he individually didn't disappoint me. Now, right guard, yeah, I agree. I think right guard is a problem, but only in the preseason because, Of course, Zeitler will be back, and then it won't be a problem anymore because he'll be there. And right tackle, Faalele will not be expected to participate unless something were to happen to Morgan Moses, and nothing has ever, to this point in his career, affected him and caused him to miss a game. So the right side, to me, I have zero concerns on the right side. And then the center position, to me, I'd rather it be Linderbaum, and I think obviously the Ravens would rather it be Linderbaum since he was their first round pick. But if it's not Linderbaum, I know that we have a guy on staff that I think is at least solid at the position in Patrick McCary. So I'm not terrified there, although I do get flashbacks of the sailing snaps going over the head of Lamar Jackson. But let's hope that he's cured that issue. So I'm not worried about center or the right side. But the left side, Jimbo, I can see where you're getting your concern because while I think Juwan James, to me, has been better than expected at left tackle, you got to realize my expectations were extraordinarily low for him. Like, I thought he was going to just be a turnstile at left tackle. So anything above that is an improvement in my eyes. But I'm going to be awfully nervous if Ronnie Stanley's not ready. So certainly nervous about the left tackle position, even though James has been a little bit better than I was anticipating. Now, left guard, on the other hand, I don't know what to expect, Jimbo, because it's almost like you have to accept the lesser of the two evils rather than a good player. Because my goodness, Tyree Phillips gets all the penalty flags. He gets them all, Jimbo. He goes, "What penalty do you want, coach? I'll get that one this time, and then I'll get a different one the next time." I mean, the guy is a walking penalty. So while I think has the higher ceiling over Ben Powers, the penalties are absolutely devastating to all offenses, but certainly an offense that relies on, ball control, staying ahead of the chains, and a strong run game. A 10-yard penalty on first down or a 5-yard penalty on first or second down can kill a drive. So, Jimbo, I am very concerned about the left guard because if it's not him, then it's Ben Powers, who I think is okay in the run game. He leaves a lot to be desired in the passing game, and he also doesn't bring the athleticism to the position that we see from Tyree. So it limits, even though he's okay in the run game, it limits some of the stuff they can do with pulling guards,
So it sounds like you're in the relative same boat as I am, at least on the left side of the line. I mean, I agree with you. When you take a step back, like the right side of the line was underwhelming yesterday, but those names that are there won't be there for the most part unless there's an injury. But it's really unfortunate. A few things are unfortunate about left guard. It's unfortunate that Ben Cleveland hasn't worked out there. It's unfortunate that Ben Powers is our best option. And honestly, he was a mid-round pick, and they probably expected more of him at this point. And then same thing with Tyree. I'm going to start a total unfounded, baseless theory. Okay?
Okay.
I think that next year, I'm already talking about next year. That's probably a problem. I think Bozeman's coming back, baby.
Didn't he just have a pretty serious injury?
Yeah, he's going to get paid. He's going to rehab. He's got a 1-year deal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And he's going to head back up to Baltimore. We'll have Linderbaum, and then we'll lock down the left guard spot. Old Bradley Bozeman will be back in Baltimore in the trailer, and then we'll have Cleveland or Zeitler on the right side. We'll lock it down on the left side of the line. No, I'm being extremely facetious here, but I was thinking about that today. I was like, you never know. Crazier things have happened.
You never do know.
But for this year, of course, I'm interested. So really what it comes down to me at left guard is, I guess they really want McCary to be that swing guy, right? Because don't you think he's better than both of those two?
At left guard?
Left guard, yeah.
Yeah, I do. I just think that he's either going to have to be the swing guy or the center if Linderbaum's not up to speed. So yeah, I agree. I think Dawson said it, that McCary could start left guard. He could.
Yeah.
He could, but I think that they are right now. I think they're a little concerned with if Linderbaum's going to be ready after he's missed this much time with injury.
Right. No, good point. And then also, at what point do we stop holding our breath on Ronnie, right? Let's see. The game is how many weeks out now?
Yeah, we're talking September
3 weeks?
13th or September 11th.
September 11th, yeah.
Yeah, so we're talking 3 weeks, Jimbo.
And really,
and coach said if you're going to play, you got to practice for at least a couple weeks. So what has he got? He's got to return to practice this week.
I mean, that's what it's got to be, or else he's on PUP, or else he's PUP. 6 weeks, and it's 77, right? 77 with Juwan James. 71.
71.
Yeah, 71. Yeah. So, at what point do we start to turn the corner on that? That's a concern for me. I'm nervous. Overall, I'm still feeling nervous about the offensive line. I was hoping that I would feel better about it at this point going into this season, and I'm not, and it's really starting to concern me.
Yeah, no, and there's nothing I could say to could tell you to calm down. James Lee Wiley says, "Thanks for keeping me up on the Ravens out in Oklahoma." Jimbo, didn't you just spend a few miles in Oklahoma?
Few miles, drove all the way through it on, I don't know. I think it's old Route 66, whatever I was driving through there, James. But I admire you, man. I admire you for toughing it out. It is hot in the summer. It was 102 degrees out there. My poor dog was in the car. AC wasn't working well. It was a tough one for him. But only time I ever seen my dog wince, like he started whining when he touched the asphalt when he got out of the car, was in Oklahoma.
So hot.
He was like, "Yep, I'm going back in the car. That's it. I don't need to pee. I'm done." So yeah, but shout out James. Yeah, man. Glad you enjoy the show and hope you continue to do so. But I'm starting to hit the panic button on Ronnie, Glenn.
Yeah. I mean, unless we see or hear some type of encouraging news, then yeah, I'm with you, Jimbo. It's starting to become a concern. So you're not so
what would make me feel better?
No, like when you watch Juwan James, do you think, all right, well, he can get by if we just don't do something? Like, what's your thoughts on
Yeah,
Juwan?
actually, Juwan is serviceable.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think he's my. Last night, he wasn't my biggest concern, right? Maybe it's just the other guys were so like
Hmm.
underwhelming that I was like, all right, I can deal with Juwan. But he struggles with. I mean, everybody does, but he struggles with strength. Guys that are strong, he seems to get pushed around a decent amount
Hmm.
right now, and I worry about you got a serious pass rush here in the AFC North. You got some strong dudes, right?
Hmm.
And I just don't know if that's going to cut it. So that makes me a little nervous, but I do think he can be serviceable. And I hope that the three guys on the right between Moses, Zeitler, and Linderbaum are spectacular, and then we can do something a bit better about the left guard. But we've got to shore up this left side of the line for the sake of our souls at this
Hmm.
point. But really quickly, Glenn, I want to, speaking of baseless and foundless
Theories?
theories, there you go. Did you see the pictures of Hollywood Brown and Lamar Jackson after?
Yeah,
Uh,
I did.
did you see there's not a single smile on Lamar Jackson's face.
Nah, I saw him cutting it up. They were dapping up and chatting in the middle of the field. I mean, not
Mhm.
just him, bunch of Ravens players.
Oh, yeah, they were dapping it up and they were chatting.
Yeah,
I
and
didn't
he
see
got
any.
a signed jersey from Hollywood.
Okay, let me just show you this, okay?
Are you reading into one photograph,
Nope,
Jimbo?
nope, a few photographs, okay?
Okay,
A
okay.
few photographs. And this is all I'm
Uh,
saying, is I don't think Lamar Jackson was too happy about all of Hollywood Brown's actions about wanting out, is all I'm saying. And this is just for me to speculate. I think this is fun, okay? All right. So look here. Hold on. Come on. Here we go. Look at this. Look at this smile. Look at Lamar Jackson. He looks like he's miserable. Looks terrible.
well,
Look at all the writing here. You see all this writing
yeah.
on number 2? Lamar Jackson just signed his name. That's it. He said, here's my name. And look, he wrote
uh,
legend, I love you, dumb love. Like, okay. And Lamar said, bro, here's a jersey with my name on it. You see this? No smile. That's a
yeah, but
respect, but that's not a like, bro, I'm genuinely happy to see you. And you see the difference? That's what it should have looked like. And it didn't, bro. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I don't think Lamar was too happy about the move of Hollywood Brown to say, I want it out. I don't think Lamar is about that life. I don't think he would have comported himself in that way. I don't think he was too happy about it. That's all I'm
first of
saying.
all, what does comported mean?
Comportment, to comport yourself, to behave yourself in a certain way.
I never heard that word, but I believe you that is the correct usage.
Yeah,
So,
DK can nod
yeah,
in a sense.
DK, let me know if you know about comported, because come on, dude.
Yeah, see, I got
But
the thumbs up, dude.
all right, good. All right, well, I'll take DK's word for it, not so much yours.
Great.
No, yeah, I think that I think you know what? Who cares? He's not here any longer. I think he regrets his decision. He looked so happy to see his former teammates. He's going to be miserable in Arizona. All right, so let's move on to back to the game notes here, Jimbo, because
Yep.
I'm not going to delay it any further.
Let's do it.
Isaiah Likely is a huge, huge problem for the rest of the NFL, Jimbo.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
imagine your second best tight end is as good as Isaiah Likely has shown already. This guy, let me just say this. He had 8 targets last night, caught all 8 of them, 100 yards and a touchdown. And to date, he has 12 targets, 12 catches, 144 yards, a touchdown, and this is the part that gets me real excited, Jimbo. He's number 1 in total yak yards in the preseason, Jimbo. Number 1, not just amongst tight ends. As all pass receivers, he is number 1 in yak yards. Jimbo, we've been asking for yak players for so long, it seems like, and looks like they finally found one in Mr. Isaiah Likely. I mean, how impressive has he been, Jimbo?
I mean, so impressive that I'm starting to wonder how high he's going to get drafted in fantasy. At this point, like, to be honest with you, he's your number 2 tight end. He's potentially your second best pass catcher. Potentially. I'm not poo-pooing Bateman by any stretch of the imagination, but the dude looks like he's going to be a serious problem. And the scary thing is, how are you going to deal with Andrews on one side? And then you look over and you're like, this son of a gun is about to burn my second best linebacker or second best situation, matchup when it comes to already having a matchup problem with Andrews. What do you do with that all day? I love this. I love it. I love it. This is why, Glenn. Everyone has been criticizing the Ravens right now about sticking to what they do best, like doubling down on what they do so well. And the Ravens gave everyone the middle finger and said, this is what we do. This is what we're going to keep doing. And they've made plenty of matchup problems. Sure. Maybe we don't have tons of wide receivers. We got 2 tight ends that are going to be serious problems for guys that are even worse at covering people, linebackers and safeties. These aren't, corners. Are you going to put a corner on one of these guys? Good luck. It will be an embarrassment. So I'm so excited for Isaiah Likely. It was funny. Did you see his first catch? I don't know if you noticed what Greg Olsen said on his very first catch. It was just, he sat down, made the first down.
Beautiful.
And he said, a little short. He's got to get a little deeper. And then he's like, oh, well, they gave him the first down. It's like he tried to find like a little, you tried to find
it was clear he had the first, but yeah.
And then there was nothing he could say. And then obviously the rest of the night he was praising this kid as a, making plays that rookies don't make. But he is dangerous in so many ways. Like you said, the yak, his catching ability, his ability to go up and get the football, his speed, his route running. Yeah,
that
all
touchdown,
of it.
dude, he took a hit.
Yeah, he's just, and everyone knew where the ball was going. That was what cracked me up. On that first third down of that drive, everyone knew the ball was going to 80.
Yeah. All right, here we go. All right, Jimbo, I'll let you handle this one.
Okay, as per usual, James and his hot takes just make no sense. Okay, I called Josh Ross. Sure, whatever. I can go down the list. You can check my receipts. Zach Wilson is legit. Sure. Okay. You can die on that hill, dude. Not a hill worth dying on. Trust me. He is not the Sam Darnold of his draft class. Prove me different. Check the highlights, bro. What highlights? I don't know what highlights you're referring to. Glenn, I got your haircut and it sucks. I'm going full buzz. Love you guys.
Not everyone can pull off this look.
Was this all just a troll job? You love us?
I like it.
I think he was trying to get me. Look, I didn't even read the whole thing before I read it out loud. Maybe I should have done that. That would have been smart.
Oh, that was good. This was a good one. I like this one.
Yeah.
I completely disagree about Zach Wilson being legit. I think I'm not going to go quite as far. I like how you go
right past my hot take. You're right past my hot take.
Well, what was your hottest take in this most recent, like?
I don't know, but
you're just one walking hot take.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know which one. I don't know which exact.
Remember the Browns?
I do. You look.
Remember Baker Mayfield?
You can't just spew a bunch of takes, and then when occasionally one hits, you go, "You remember that one that I got?"
Give me a bad one.
Look, Jimbo. I don't know. I don't keep a log in my head of your bad takes. Okay, I don't keep a running log.
But it's our job to give takes, right? Like that's what I'm supposed to do.
That's right. That's right.
Like if I'm not gonna stand on my own oats and do it, then who's gonna do it?
Hey, I'm with you. I think you stick by them.
But Numera, if your take is that Zach Wilson is legit, bro,
check the highlights. I love that. Look, and I think that's also a troll because I'm sure you know that.
Yeah,
everyone has a good highlight reel. Even the worst player in the league has a great highlight reel.
And it's funny because the only team that they played against the year where he stood out that had any sort of name behind him was Coastal Carolina, and they lost, if I'm not mistaken.
Shout out to Coastal Carolina.
Yeah.
Home of Isaiah Likely.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Anyway. All right, let's move on. Appreciate
Going full buzz, my man. I loved it. That was bro. Yeah, that was awesome. But yeah, Isaiah Likely, the yak yards he was getting, Jimbo. He's shown off the make you miss. He showed off the run, the stiff arm. He'll show off the just running through, the weaker tacklers as they just slide down his hips and off his caboose. The guy is just an absolute. He is someone that I think that. Already week one, DCs will be scratching their head on how they're going to deal with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely when the Ravens bring out their big package and only Bateman's the only receiver on the field. And it brought up it kind of reminded me of the Twitter that we saw, the tweet that we saw from Kadri when he kind of questioned that someone was doubting the receiving core and saying that nobody kind of separated themselves and no one's made a name. And he said, whoa, stop focusing on that position group. The pass catchers on this team will be the tight ends and Rashad Bateman. And then it'll be, the other guys, in his opinion, don't matter a whole lot because they're not going to be the focus on this team. And it's not like he's saying that, they're trash. He's just saying that they don't need to be this. They don't need to be that because the focus and the game planning on this team will be surrounding the tight end group and Rashad Bateman. And as long as they're there, then the rest of the guys don't matter much. And maybe that's what Hollywood was talking about when he said, I don't matter to that offense. They're going to win with or without me. They're going to score with or without me. What do you think about that, Jimbo?
I think Hollywood is a whiner, first of all. But I understand your point. I just had to get the jab in.
Yeah, yes, okay. All right.
I had to get the jab in.
All right.
But yeah, for sure. Sorry, DK. I'm on one tonight. I can't help it. I just don't like people like that. Okay. Yeah, I agree 100%. Like, people segregate wide receivers from tight ends when in the NFL, it's funny because the Ravens have also realized that front offices and the NFL as a whole has bought into this stupidity, right? Where apparently a wide receiver is worth more than a guy who can catch just like a wide receiver, run routes just like a wide receiver, who's bigger than a wide receiver, is more of a matchup problem and can block, right? Like, they can do more but get paid less. And the Ravens are like, you're telling me he does more and gets paid less? Sign me up. I'll take two. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the idea. And so, yeah, I subscribe to Kadri's logic. I think it's 100% the truth. And another hot take. I know for a fact, Glenn, that you and I said that Eric did a gap analysis in the market and found out that value was in the tight end before anybody wrote about it. So hot take, that is all I'm saying. But absolutely, I mean, I agree with Kadri there. I'm so excited. But I do have one question about the tight end group. What do you take of Nick Boyle playing so late in this game? It seemed odd to me, right? Is it that somebody had to be out there? And then he took a catch and he got destroyed because he was doubled. I just didn't understand why he was out there. I don't consider him a bubble guy. I mean, contractually, they can't really do anything with him even if they wanted to.
No, he's not going anywhere. And I agree. He was playing well into the second half. I was stunned. The only thing I could chalk it up to is the fact that they didn't have their full group of tight ends. Correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't see Tony Poljan out there. And I'm checking now the snap count sheet because I have it in front of me. But yeah, Tony Poljan didn't play. So I'm not sure what's going on with him.
Right.
But yeah, so I just think they just ran out of tight ends. Like, obviously Isaiah Likely's not going back out there after the first half he had. Mark Andrews wasn't playing to start with. So once Likely was out, they were really just down to Oliver and Nick Boyle. So it may have just been out of pure necessity, or it could have also been, hey, it's been it's been quite a while since Nick Boyle has felt like Nick Boyle and had an opportunity to play. And maybe he felt like he had some rusty. Oh, actually, you know what? I do see Tony Poljan. That is interesting. So Tony Poljan only played 8 snaps, Jimbo. Nick Boyle played 21.
Yeah, weird, right?
I would have thought those two would have flipped, right?
Yeah. And maybe Nick asked for it. Is that possible? You know what I mean?
Well, Harbs does say he goes to his veterans and he said, what do you need? What do you need to get yourself ready? Do you need this many snaps? Do you need one series? What do you need? And maybe, he's part of as far as I know, Nick Boyle's part of the leadership. What do they call it there? The leadership.
Coalition?
Yeah, I can't remember the name Harbs uses, but basically he selects a group of veterans, strategically from around the team that basically represent the team. When they have to have discussions and stuff. So maybe Nick Boyle requested a little bit more time, but yeah I'm surprised to see Tony Poljan get like less than half the snaps.
Right, 100%. I was surprised about that and didn't know what to make of it. So I mean, obviously, like we both realized, Nick is not in trouble making this roster, but Boyle did say that he was thirsting for some time in the preseason. Fair enough. So yeah, there you go. DK settles the argument. That's why he's the best at what he does. Okay, so All right, we got something to say. We got Ball So Hard that says tight end is the most dangerous position to cover on the offense. Patriots won of Gronk. I think because of Gronk and Hernandez. I mean, I think that's that. Look, the middle of the field is where you want to dominate at the end of the day. So
ask what's his name, Bill Belichick.
Oh,
Most
Billy.
important part to dominate is the middle of the field, and everything else will come off of that. So, the Patriots, they like to Tom Brady. They like to dominate the middle of the field, and everything else is sprinkled in around it. So the Ravens feel in a lot of ways the same in that regard, which a lot of people do. They just hype up. Shout out to Sean Pisker, says, hey, boys, great game last night. Loving Likely so far. Can't wait to see him and Andrews paired together. 100%. That is going to be a real conundrum for defensive coordinators to see how they can cover Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely at the same time. When it's likely they don't have one guy that can cover either of them.
Right.
So it's going to be a real. I just don't know what they're going to be able to do here. It's going to be tough, but I don't want to just spend a lot of time talking about Isaiah Likely, although he certainly deserves it. I want to talk about on the other side, the other star rookie, because my guy Travis Jones could not be blocked last night. He absolutely was destroying anyone put in front of him. He won when I saw him in pass rush situations, I didn't see him not win the battle in front of him. He won every single battle in front of him in pass rushing situations. First of all, when he pushed McSorley, it looked like me shoving my 8-year-old. Like,
seriously, it was ridiculous.
I mean, that is a grown man. Like, if Trace McSorley walked in here right now, I wouldn't be able to do anything. Like, he would destroy it. Like, because he's in good shape. He's probably my height, all that. Well, maybe not quite my height. But the point being is that he pushed him over like he was a plastic lawn chair, just in the way, just get down. Now, I will say their face masks did collide, so I don't disagree with the call because that was the letter of the rule. But Jimbo, how excited are you about Travis Jones? And then how frustrated and concerned were you when you saw him laying on the ground holding his knee?
Yeah, super excited about Travis Jones. Can't get over it. I love watching him. He's violent in there. He's imposing. He's strong. He's got good moves, good hands, and he's just powerful. And he's disruptive, which I think is probably the most important quality you can have there. And just be disruptive, right? Like ruin things.
Yeah,
bull in a China shop style. But I was concerned, and I get PTSD. I start going through episodes when somebody gets injured now, because it brings me back to last year. I mean, I was concerned. Now, he did avoid a major injury. It was a hyperextension. I think John said he's going to be out at least for the preseason. I've seen some reports going to be 3 to 4 weeks. So, I mean, I hope he comes back, and I'm still expecting good things. But let's see. Marco says Mike Evans hyperextended his knee last year in week 17, came back in the wild card round. Typical recovery time is 2 to 3 weeks. Maybe week 1, if not week 2. That's fair enough. And we got the guys up front. It's not like, I mean, obviously we want him there because he's really good, but we got the guys up front we got the depth
is there.
Yeah, for sure. But one of the things I want to talk about is this, I think one of the storylines of this game, Isaiah Likely talked about it, but it's this rookie class as a whole.
Yes.
I mean, now it's funny because of all of them, I felt like Hamilton had some tough spots last night.
Yep.
Had some tough moments where he missed some tackles.
Yep.
Had some other moments where I felt like he got out physicaled, if that makes sense. Like he just looked like he wasn't ready for the physicality of the moment.
Yeah, he needs some work.
Yeah, for sure. And it looked like he was thinking a little bit too much out there and maybe not moving as quickly as he normally does. What were your thoughts on Kyle's game last night?
Yeah, I thought Kyle had some moments where he played well, but then he also had some moments where he looked like a rookie out there. There was one tackle he missed that looked pretty bad. Kind of olayed the guy and looked unathletic in that play, in that specific play. Not that I think he is an athletic guy, but in that play he looked pretty unathletic. So yeah, I agree. I think he struggled. The good thing is here is there's pretty good safeties already on this squad, and even good ones behind the starters, to where he's not going to have to be thrust into a role where they're dependent on him to clear up and clean up a bunch of holes in the back end of the defense.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be able to be brought along at a pace, and I think eventually develop into the stud safety that they expect him to be when they drafted him. But I agree with you, Jimbo. I want to go through. I got a bunch of rookies written down, and I want to quickly kind of buzz through them and get your take on them, because I know there's a couple that you called pretty early and that, you're pretty you got to be pretty proud of. Josh Ross, I got to start. You're talking about a rookie. Well, this is an undrafted rookie playing middle linebacker in Baltimore. The guy has been nothing short of incredible his first 2 games, Jimbo. I saw this note. He's earned a 90 plus grade according to PFF in both the first 2 preseason games. He's only allowed 9 yards on 3 catches in coverage, and he's also tallied multiple run stops. So, Jimbo, I know you initially liked Josh Ross when they signed him because he came from Michigan, where, of course, the new defensive coordinator was last coaching. But, I mean, is Ross a realistic – like, he's got a real shot at making this team, Jimbo.
Yeah. You know what? You want a hot take, Glenn?
Yeah, let me hear it.
You want a hot take? Not only does he have a realistic chance of making this team, he is the oh gosh, DK, I'm forgetting this word. He is the person that will follow in the footsteps of one Josh Bynes. After Josh Bynes leaves his post, Josh Ross is the next guy. It's not Malik Harrison. It's not another draft pick. If PQ does well and hangs around, predecessor is previous to successor. There you go. Bam. Thank you.
How did he have that? How did you have that already? What just happened?
So he is the successor of one Josh Bynes. The dude had command. He was in the right place at the right time. He had speed. He was physical. I mean, he laid the wood on a few people yesterday. And the dude gets it done is all I'm saying. And I'm really excited about him. I'm looking forward to see him continue to mature and progress. Ross is a legit threat in every positive way. Yes. So that's my take. This time next year, Ross starting next to PQ, book it.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at the roster and I think of guys he's competing with, I know Christian Welch has been here for a few years, and he might be better on special teams right now. I don't know, but I would much rather see Josh Ross playing defense for this team if need be than Christian Welch in meaningful snaps. Already, I'd rather have it. And obviously the ceiling for Josh Ross is higher because we've seen, I think Christian Welch at this point, was he in year 3? The coach has probably got a pretty good feel of the player Christian Welch is going to be. They still don't know how good Josh Ross can be. So yeah, I like him over Welch. I like him over my guy who entering camp, who I was really high on, Zacoby McClain. I like him over Diego Fago. I like him over Malik Harrison at this point. Although I will say Malik Harrison did have a bit of a bounce back game, played better than he did in week 1. I just think when I watch Josh Ross play, I'm super impressed, and I think he fits perfectly for this defense. And I don't think Mike McDonald's going anywhere anytime soon. So yeah, I agree. I like him. All right, moving on. Jordan Stout. Man, you talk about a position that I don't think elsewhere, like many other cities, respect and really, truly kind of get the importance of what special teams does for your team. But Baltimore does. And I love the fact that they're not letting what Jordan Stout is doing going unnoticed. They're pointing it out. I've seen it on Twitter. The guy put 2 inside the 5 last night, and he put another one inside the 15. I love how these clips come out. This guy kicked it 83 yards. Wow, bounced in the end zone. This guy kicked it this many yards. The reason they took this guy is because not only can he, if he wanted to, he could get back and boom the ball 80 yards. Of course he could. But he also has more than just a strong leg. He has accuracy at the position. He has multiple different kicks that he can make, not just a stand. All these guys can, of course, but he can place a backspin and have it bounce inside the 5 and kick back to the 10. He's not just a one-trick pony who can kick it real far. I love what I'm seeing from him. And, of course, it helps that he's getting those holds down and holding it straight for Tucker as well. Yeah,
that don't hurt. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of reminds me of the Peyton to Luck transition or the Favre to Rodgers transition, right? Like it's just one of those things.
Sons of guns,
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things.
One Hall of Famer to the next.
Yeah, it's just, oh my gosh. And shout out to Sherry. So psyched about Stout. Agree 100%. Thank you so much, Sherry.
Yes.
It's,
I'm glad, Cher. I'm glad you put a comment in this time.
yeah. Put
You
as
know,
many in as you'd like.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt about it. But yeah, super hype. And dude, by the way, let me just say this, guys, because we've seen him up close and personal on 3 occasions. The arms on Jordan Stout, dude. He doesn't not look like a punter. There's just, I mean, the dude is just, he's way bigger than I was expecting to see, especially considering he's a rookie. And it's likely he'll only get bigger as he continues to grow older in his career. But yeah, so super hype about him. All right, Pepe. How,
Yes, let's get right to it. Let's keep working down this rookie
I
class.
mean, you
Are you
talk
not in
about,
love with him
dude,
as a
he's so
player?
lovable as a player, as an interviewee. Like, I love the fact that he was asked and he's like, look, I want to be a fan favorite. Like, I love that.
Yes.
Say it. Yes,
He
I
has,
want people to like me.
yeah, he's so candid and genuine and real all the time.
Genuine.
Dude,
Yep.
the pop that he put on that dude, I mean,
Yes.
just with
For a little
everything he
guy.
had, just gave him everything he had. Loved it. And then obviously the interception,
Yes.
almost took it to the house. I think the announcers got a little bit ahead of themselves.
Yep.
He's got a clear path.
Yeah.
And then
he's
he
going
gets
to walk it in.
yeah, he gets like 6 yards.
By the way, quick side note: the commentators, the Fox broadcast, trash.
Yeah,
Trash. I mean, they're hyping up. First of all, I think he's a nice guy, and I like Olsen as a player.
He's no Tony Romo.
Sorry. Not having it. Then they're trying to spread this narrative that Lamar Jackson has injury issues because he missed 5 games last year.
Oh, jeez.
I'm tired of it.
He only missed 4.
I'm
They
tired.
got that wrong.
Like, dude, I was so incredibly disappointed to the of the Fox broadcast team. They kept trying to hype it up like it was something good.
Yeah, DK mentioned they called Riley Webb Jordan Stout for the touchdown because they both were number 11. It's like,
and they
dude,
printed it. Like it was on the screen. Jordan Stout touchdown. Like they didn't just say it. It was somebody typed that crap. It was just embarrassing. I mean, you expect these guys to be the best of the best, and I was extremely disappointed. All right, but I'm not going to.
How do we apply?
I know. I mean, at this point, why not? You know, it can't get worse. Get me in there, dude. I might have to change my haircut because apparently they're not feeling it. Oh, yeah, 25 pounds in the offseason. You know how impossible that is? You know, even at my worst, when I'm putting back some really unhealthy late night snacks, I couldn't put on 25 pounds if I wanted to.
And that's not muscle. Like, you know what I mean? They said 25 pounds of muscle. If I'm
which has got to be more difficult, right? Like,
it's 100,000% more difficult. I mean, that's just, so hard.
Oh, yeah. Sean Payton, by the way, trash.
Yeah, terrible.
Horrible. Yeah, I'm glad somebody said that. The dude was garbage.
Can I just say, I don't know what's happened since why does his face look frozen?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I try not to pick on those things because
I get it. Who knows? But I was like, really caught myself like, what's going on here, Sean?
Yeah,
he should still be coaching.
Bad. Yeah, not for this. He's not built.
And then hold on, I gotta say this. And then to make it all worse, the commercials with oh my gosh, why am I blanking on his name? Oh, coached the Jags last year.
Oh my goodness, the Florida coach, Urban Meyer.
The commercials with Urban Meyer and
there was commercials with Urban Meyer.
You saw the commercials, right, DK? Like
I didn't see them.
Anyway.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I did like the ones with Kevin Hart and Lamar. Shout out to Lamar getting some more commercials. That was pretty funny, dude. Yeah, I actually like that.
That was good stuff.
Everybody loves Kevin Hart. Okay, back to the rookie. So Beatty, I thought played fantastic out of the backfield. It looks like him and Mike Davis are going to be the two prime, contributors, at least in the initial part of the season, as JK and Gus continue to work back. I thought I'll say this about Justice Hill. I think Justice Hill showed some strength.
Yeah.
Ran through a couple tackles.
Real urgency.
Yeah, was really trying and really fighting. Still, in my opinion, he's the third best back. But if you right now rank Davis, Beatty, and Hill, I'm still putting him third because of the vision. I thought he had some more opportunities. But I will say he's definitely shown that he's put on way more strength, running way strong. And like you said, running with a bit of a desperation, it looked like he was going through, didn't always get very far, but even if it took 3 broken tackles, he, to get back to the line or gain a yard, that's what he did. But yeah, I was impressed. What do you think about Tyler Beatty and your confidence level heading into the season with him
I don't
likely
know.
having to contribute early?
Yeah, I was up and down. I was expecting too much. Maybe that was just what I still want to see a little more burst, like a little more like I don't
Well,
know
he
if
only
burst
had
is the
12 for
word.
34, so I can understand. He had less than 3 yards of carry. I could
Yeah,
see it.
like suddenness. Like I want to see a little more like explosion up the field, leave a guy in the dust type thing.
Mhm.
Beat a guy in open field. But so I will say this: he had a really nice sidestep. It was
Mhm.
really nice, and then cut it up the field. So he had moments where he had some plays that were like, okay, I can see it, like it's there, but he's got
Yeah.
to put it together a little more consistently. Maybe that'll come with better offensive line play as well, with just having more opportunities without guys in his face right away.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But
Well,
certainly, I mean, I think we've worked our way down this rookie class, and dude, we haven't talked about Linderbaum, obviously,
mm-mm.
and
And on Hamilton, we talked negatively, honestly.
yeah, absolutely. And then of course we haven't talked about Armour Davis
Mhm.
either, and he hasn't done anything
It's just
to
been lost.
yeah, he just hasn't done anything to make me lose confidence in him. But I think Pepe's kind of overshadowed him a little bit.
Definitely.
And so man, this group, this we said it in the offseason. This Eric DeCosta, a lot of his legacy depends on this draft class, and it's looking like he
It's a
bet
big
on a
one.
lot of the right guys.
Yeah, this is a big one for him, and he seemingly, um, especially in that 4th round, dude. I mean, you talk about
Mhm.
he had a ton of shots at it, but he really knocked it out of the park. The 3rd round pick in Travis Jones. I mean, yeah, he killed it. But there is a draft pick that he had last season that I want to get your take on, and it's
Mhm.
funny because I'm gonna be kind of hard on him, and
Uh-oh.
he did lead the team in tackles, but for all the wrong reasons. Brandon Stevens.
Yeah, tough night.
Tough night, man. He got a couple penalties, got
Mhm.
beat. He did have a play or two in there where I thought he played it well, forced a guy to the sideline and forced an
Who
incompletion or
is it?
two. But
Isabella, that's his last name?
yeah,
Was
Andy
giving it to him
Isabella.
a decent amount last night.
And Andy Isabella is no, rookie. Like, it's a
Right.
guy, who
He's a
can
high
make
round draft
plays.
pick, right?
I don't remember. I just remember he's been around and he's a fast guy. But I thought Brandon Stevens had a rough night on the outside, and it's starting to make now. Maybe I'm being premature here, but it's starting to make me a little nervous about his transition to becoming primarily a corner and secondarily a safety. Am I being a little bit too premature? Like
I
I'm worried about his outside game.
I think maybe you are, only because so he was a second round pick, 62 overall, Isabella, but there's
Okay.
not too many guys in the NFL that you're gonna find with that speed. Not too many. I
Hmm.
mean, you got the Tyreek Hills, you got the Waddles. But I know this sounds crazy, but if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Isabella also a competitive track runner as well?
Oh, the
In
dude's
college.
got burners.
So, if you're just talking straight wheels, there's probably not too many guys. Yeah, confirmed. DK confirm just to make sure I'm not spitting out stupidity here. But there's not too many guys with wheels like that in the NFL is my point. So a unique skill set at the very least. And so I understand your concern level. I didn't like the dumb penalty,
Hmm.
but also you have to give a guy, like, it's easy for a guy like Isabella to get open underneath because you have to give him so much. You don't want to get beat over the top, right? You have to.
Yeah.
And so I understand your concern, but I'm not as concerned about it as you are.
Okay. And now hopefully with Marlon being back and with
Yeah.
Peters being back and all that he won't be needed to go in and play a ton of snaps on the outside. So hopefully he'll continue. And he is new to the position. He played running back 4 years ago. So I got to give him a little leniency here. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
being
for sure.
being a little bit too hard. But
See what
also a
Daryl
rook. Oh, go ahead.
sorry, let's see what Daryl Pickett has to say. Caw! Nice. Hopefully our starters don't give up 100 yards and penalties. Those guys got me screaming at my TV
Hmm.
for a preseason game. I hear you. We hear your pain.
Yeah, because I think they had 10 penalties last night. Unacceptable.
Mhm.
Let's just chalk it up to them getting it out in the preseason because you're right. This offense, it doesn't do well with penalties. It's not an air raid offense that picks up constant chunk plays. So you need to stay at or above or in front of the chains, in my opinion. And yeah, 10 penalties ain't going to do it, Jimbo. But another rookie, before we finish up with the rookies,
Yep.
I know he wasn't drafted, but dude, Anthony Brown. I mean, Anthony Brown Jr., does not at all appear to be an undrafted rookie. In fact, he was 10 of 13, Jimbo, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he did have the pick. But the pick to me looked like some sort of a miscommunication between him and the pass catcher. And so at this point, I'm not sure if that was on him or if the pass catcher ran the wrong route. Who knows? But up to that point, I mean, the dude was perfection. That seam route he threw to Raleigh Webb for the touchdown, I mean, it was a dime. It was an absolute dart. And by the way, on that play, I wrote a note. Beatty, excellent job coming from the right side to the left, picking up the blitzing nickel and stonewalling him, allowing Anthony Brown to make that throw. I know coaches noticed that pass pro, and that'll certainly help him get on the field. But Anthony Brown, is he all but a lock to make the practice squad, Jimbo?
For sure. And I think that, it's just a way to keep the stocks full, right? Like you have a guy like Tyler Huntley, who's, we could also spend a ton of time and talk about tonight, but he played so well, masterful. I think is the word John used to describe his play. Played so well, and but eventually Tyler will be moving on. I guarantee you have an opportunity to at least compete for a starting job somewhere, right? But then you got a guy like this coming in and playing well, continuing to develop, and shout out to him. I mean, I not gonna lie, I didn't have too high expectations, because if you go back and watch his tape at Oregon, it's not like the most exciting stuff. It's not. So I was like, yeah. But he's impressed me here. I have to admit. He's impressed me. Now, we stomped Oregon 2 times last year on the way to a Rose Bowl, but I'll still take him when he plays for the Ravens. He's in purple now.
Exactly. Any concern about him not making it through the waiver process and making it to the practice squad?
Yeah, it's a good question. That's a good question. I'm not crazy concerned about it, because he fits our scheme so well right now, and that increases his value here in Baltimore, and that might not be the same for other teams. And that's okay. Yeah. He's got a job here. You only need one team. You don't need 31. You just need one.
And also, you got to remember that if you are signing him off our practice squad, then you have to cut someone who's been with you all camp to sign a guy who you don't know, who doesn't know your playbook, and who likely won't help you for a long, long time. So I think they have a good shot at keeping him. But impressive.
And speaking of roster moves, you probably already know this as well, Glenn, but Jalen Moore is no longer a Baltimore Raven. So that multi-year tenure and experiment is over. I know a lot of people liked him, but he is officially not a Baltimore Raven. Wish him well. And I'm assuming that's to make room for Demarcus Robinson, or just because they didn't like his play as well. So good luck. Best of luck to you, Jalen Moore.
And then let's talk about your guy, Tyler Huntley. Has been absolutely unbelievable since the start of the preseason, Jimbo. He's 29 out of 32 for 238 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's got 3 incomplete passes, Jimbo. Last night, he went 13 of 14, 129 and a touchdown. And paused on my television right now. As we were talking about Anthony Brown, I looked up, and what do I see? I see Tyler Huntley taking on 2 defenders and winning I mean, how do you take on, you're a quarterback. I got it right now. Boom! He took on 2 defenders and then fell forward for the first down. What can't Tyler Huntley do, Jimbo? And when are teams going to start, if or when are teams going to start calling about Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I asked this question first. But man, all that aside, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be it's going to be interesting to see, because look, I think that the preseason play, he's outgrown, right? Like, he's at that point where it's like, okay, guys, I need a bit more. He's not going to get that, barring injury, which we don't want to see, and he doesn't want to see, in Lamar. So I don't know if people call, because I don't know how much they'd have to give up. He's highly valued here in the Ravens. The second most important person on your team is your backup quarterback. So what is it going to take for the Ravens to, I know he was we didn't draft him. He's a free agent guy. So to be able to, justify, say, oh, well, I'll get a 5th out of him. I didn't draft him. In your head, that makes sense. But at the end of the day, you need a backup this year. And if something happens, you need a guy that can hold down the fort. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if people are already calling, don't you? Or, I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I think
I don't know
it's
why the
tough for
Seahawks
me.
haven't called.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Seahawks are pretty. Let's see here, talented. Yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, the dude's been really, really good. I think that the, the the really and truly quarterback needy teams are okay with being bad because that means they have a better shot at getting,
Yeah, that's true.
one of the top college quarterbacks. So I don't think that a team, unless they truly believe that Tyler Huntley is their franchise quarterback,
Hmm.
then why trade for him? Because he might make you marginally better, but all that's doing is making you have a worse draft pick and you're still stuck looking for a
He's
quarterback
gonna
if he's not the guy.
he's gonna end up next year somehow. He's gonna end up with the Panthers because they'll throw anything at a quarterback, or the Colts because Matt Ryan will retire and they'll just try and stick another guy in there and say, "We got the roster. We just need a quarterback. We need a game
Yeah.
manager." Something
Yeah,
like that.
sometimes sometimes you just need what Tyler is. Like you don't need, if you got a good team around you, sometimes a quarterback like Tyler might be all you need. But some people
Fair.
are. I see a discussion, that he's not a very vocal
And
leader, and that's a requirement. I will say this: Lamar isn't the best local vocal leader. He's talked about that he wants to get better at that.
Mhm.
That's not really his thing. Is to get in people's face or to to do all that. That's not really his thing. But he's working on it. I don't think Joe Flacco would ever be considered a vocal leader. I mean, the
And
guy barely spoke.
yeah,
So
right.
well, it's
And
nice. It's not a requirement.
I want to put something else to bed here. Tyler Huntley is not by nature a dink and dunker. I've seen like you know, sure he might be doing that in a lot of moments, but Tyler Huntley because that's what's being asked of him. But in the confines or Tyler Huntley, excuse me, did I say Murray? My bad. Tyler Huntley. If you watch him or over an extended period of time, even in college and things like that. The dude is a gunslinger. Like,
Mhm.
trust me, he wants to push it down the field. He has no current concerns about pushing down the field, and he's got the arm to do it. The kid has got a laser. And I might be overhyping it a little bit, but certainly he's not by nature a dink and
A dink
dunker.
and dunker. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's becoming a better younger Tyrod Taylor. Fair in the comparison, except once again, I think Tyrod won't push it down the field because he
He won't
refuses
do it.
to.
Yeah.
And Tyler is being asked to play within the confines of this offense, where I think his nature is to be a bit riskier. Like Tyler likes to push it down the field in my experience and watching him in college. So that's just my take, but I get it. I mean, I can see
I
the
mean, this
comparison.
whole offense could use to push the ball a little bit more down the
Yeah.
field. So let's hope that that's kind of the direction it's heading. But
when you bring in a backup quarterback, right, you think, okay, manage the game, get the ball in the hands of the playmakers. Don't try and be Lamar Jackson, right? Like, let's not do
yeah,
that. So
do
that's the
you be you?
confines in which he's asked to play right now. But if he were a starter, it would be different.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think you could complain about 21 of 30 or
Yeah,
29 of
no.
32 with 2 touchdowns and 240 yards. I mean, I don't know how anyone um, could complain, but I do want to talk a little bit about last week's star and how he performed this week because Shamar Bridges kind of took everyone by storm. But when he had the touchdown catch, he had 2 Moss catches. And then this week he comes back, just 1 catch for 8 yards on 3 targets. To me, Bridget, it's great to see those highlight reel type catches, but at the same time, the more often you're shown trying to jump over guys and take the ball away from them, that's also showing that you're not getting a lot of separation between you and that defender. And so, when a coach is evaluating a receiver, one of the first things they look for is, can he separate from the defender? And right now, Shamar Bridges is struggling, proving to the coaches that he can do so. In practice, me and Jimmy watched. I mean, they just struggle getting open. So while it's nice that he can and has shown the ability to go up and take the ball away from a defender who's right there, they, as a coaching staff, they want to see a guy that can get open a little bit more often and not solely rely on the ability to go up and snatch the ball away in 50-50 style. Because while Bridges might be able to do that now again in the second half of a game, playing against a corner who likely won't be on the team and won't be in the league, can he, I don't think they can count on him to do that against better corners when the season comes around. So he's got to show that he can get open more. What's your thoughts on Bridges?
Yeah, I mean, I concur with everything you're saying. I don't know how much more I could add there because it's just the truth. We were expecting to see a little bit more, and what we saw was Polk, if anything. He had some moments last night, and I didn't really see much out of Shamar. So I don't know, not too much to add, and not looking good for him. Maybe a practice squad guy, but yeah, that's all I could. I mean, that's all I could add there.
Well, I want to flip. I want to give you the opportunity, Jimbo, because I know you talked before the show a lot about Tony Jefferson,
Yeah, just had a tough night.
Yeah, let me hear what you thought
Yeah,
about him.
yeah. I mean, he had a missed tackle. A sure tackler is kind of what he's made his money on, being a sure tackler, and had 2 plays consecutively, one on special teams and one on first down, where he missed a tackle on special teams, then missed a tackle in the open field against a running back, and it just wasn't a great night for Tony. I was hoping for more and really excited for and people even here in Baltimore, some beat writers have been writing about the resurgence of Tony. But he's gonna have to bounce back in preseason game 3, and I'm hoping he does so because I love the guy to death, and I know he wanted to play well against his former team, so hoping for more in the future. But
Yeah.
what other news and notes you got here to wrap this baby up, Glenn? What you got for us? Any
Yeah, just got
footnotes or honorable mentions?
I do actually. I think let's see here. I think you got to give a little bit of credit to Chuck Wiley. Chuck Wiley really saved the game for the Ravens. They were on the ropes in the second half. The Cardinals were moving the ball, and they were within 1 score when the Cardinals got the ball back, and they were moving the ball well. And then Chuck Wiley sacked the quarterback, and then on the very following play had a half sack along with Rashad Nichols, who was the other one responsible for the sack. So got to give them a little bit of credit. They finally got to the quarterback. We didn't see a ton of pass rush last night, Jimbo. I don't know if you noticed that, but the pass rush was virtually non-existent until that point. So outside of Travis Jones, of course, who was just unblockable.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the edge position, it was really just those plays at the end that I noticed. So I had to give shout out to Charles or Chuck Wiley. I think he prefers Chuck. Got to give him a shout out. But as far as anybody else, I do think that Harrison had a bit of a bounce back and played okay. Drew Frazier says the running game is a concern in my opinion. The O-line does not seem to be getting a consistent push up front, and no running back has emerged. Yards per carry is low. Jimbo, I want to get your take on that because when I look at the rush attack, it is quite disappointing, and certainly by the standard of the Baltimore Ravens. Justice Hill goes 5 carries for 5 yards. Mike Davis, 6 carries for 18 yards, and Tyler Beatty, 12 carries for 34 yards, none of which even reached 3 yards per carry. Is this just a patchwork offensive line trying to get through a preseason?
That's
or
what
is
I'm
this
hoping.
A real concern?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. And obviously, Drew, as you guys can see on the screen, the running game is a concern in my opinion. The O-line does not seem to be getting a consistent push up front, and no running back has emerged yet. Yards per carry is low. Yeah, I'm hoping it's that between the O-line and then a guy like JK not being out there, and then the threat of Lamar not being there as well. Yeah, I'm hoping it's that for sure.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope you're right. But man, it's starting
Fingers
to give
crossed.
me, because it's starting to make me think of last year where it was,
Right.
if the quarterback wasn't making the yards, then the running back certainly wasn't. So, yeah, but anyway, that's it for us, I think, tonight. But we will certainly be back soon to continue to build it. Now, standard training camp is over. This is now regular season training practice or camp. Sorry, regular season practice has now begun. So we won't be getting the news and notes coming out of training camp like we were because the media is no longer be allowed to watch. I think they can come out for the first half hour, check who's there, who's not, and then they have to leave. So, yeah, not going to be a whole ton of notes coming out, but we'll do our best to keep you up to date on all the Ravens news. But yeah, it's regular season time, Jimbo.
Let's go. Get excited, guys. Can't wait to be back here soon. Like Glenn said, we'll keep you guys in the know. And that's it for us tonight.